Hey, Sick Chicks. You are listening to the Sick Chick Hour wherever you get your podcasts. So, hi guys. Welcome back to the Sick Chick Hour, the podcast where the chronically ill are heard, seen, and celebrated. I'm your host, Jen, also known as @Jen Can't Breathe, but I can breathe now, so I should probably change that, right? Today we're talking about something a little different. When people hear the word Reiki, they usually fall into one of two camps. They're either totally for it, completely fascinated, or incredibly skeptical. I understand both perspectives. As someone who's lived with cystic fibrosis my entire life and has undergone 2 double lung transplants, I owe my life to modern medicine. Organ donation, incredible surgeons, transplant teams and medications, and decades of medical research are the only reason I'm here today. Nothing we'll talk about today is replacing that. I'm not giving any medical advice. But during some of the hardest moments of my transplant journey, while I was lying in a hospital bed trying to process everything my body and mind had just gone through, I was introduced to Reiki. It wasn't presented as a cure. It wasn't an alternative to medicine. It was offered as another form of support, a way to care for my emotional well-being, reduce stress, and help me reconnect with my body after experiencing so much medical trauma. So, on a happier note, today we're exploring where practices like Reiki fit into modern healthcare and why I believe healing isn't just about treating an organ, a part of the body. It's about caring for the whole person. To help us understand that better, I'm joined by my friend Renee, a certified Reiki practitioner. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor to be here with you today.
Oh, I love that. So I just want to ask, because that's the first question you probably get, but what is Reiki?
So Reiki is an ancient Japanese healing technique. It was actually discovered in Japan by a man named Usui. So I am of the Usui lineage. There's different lineages of Reiki. Because over time, as you're training, right. Modern people kind of took different branches, and yes. I'm the lineage back to the root.
I love that.
So Reiki is life force energy healing. So life force energy is all around us. It is in the wind, it moves the tides, it makes the flowers grow, it makes us breathe. So there is a universal life force energy in our world. Reiki masters are harnessing that life force energy and inviting it to help the person that they're working with. I can do Reiki on myself. I can Reiki my food. I can Reiki the trees. I can send universal life force energy anywhere I like. It goes where it's needed.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. So how did you become interested in Reiki?
So I always was a natural kind of healer. I went through a lot of trauma as a child, so I've been in therapy for a very long time, and different avenues have brought me to different modalities. I became familiar with Reiki. A friend of mine was a Reiki master and had suggested it as a healing tool for my son who's on the autism spectrum. So I brought my son to my friend, and I just watched his body settle when she was working with him. I was with him the entire time. And I just saw how his nervous system kind of caught a breath, just had a moment of reprieve from the elevated anxiety that he usually has. So I did a little research, and I was gifted the opportunity to train with my friend Gina Duffy, who is an amazing Reiki master. And I did the level 1, and then I did level 2, and then I did the level 3 master, and I just really just fallen in love with it. I use it all the time. I am constantly being grateful. It's very grounded in gratitude. So it's of the mindset that the brain and the body are sometimes in disaccord. So sometimes the nervous system has these automatic functions that protect us, right? Fight or flight. It's our natural instinct to protect ourselves. When the body feels threatened, it might shut down. It might send brain messages that we're in danger. We need to leave. But it might not be a dangerous situation. It might just be a new situation. So Reiki helps to take that nervous energy and kind of just remind the body that it's safe and allow those feelings to exist, because they're very strong feelings, but also to train the body to let go of some of that bracing that we do when we're in the parasympathetic nervous system. Sometimes for people, it's very physical.
Yeah, I feel like I experienced that because right after my second transplant, my dad was there with me, and while he was having them come and do Reiki, I have one of my favorite pictures is like I'm still intubated and he's got an eye mask on me, and this incredible woman is doing Reiki over my body. And it was a very hard time afterwards. For example, I loved Sabrina Carpenter at the time. I still do. Before going in, I was blasting the music. When I came out, I didn't want a single sound. The nurses were trying to get me up and walking. They were playing the music. I was like, please shut it off. And then at one point, I practically went mute. I didn't talk. It was always head movements. And I think it was because my body was so shut down. I started seeing the Reiki therapist more. And that's when I felt just reconnected. Because after you have something like that done, you're like, okay, this isn't supposed to be my body. Something was just messed around. Your brain knows this, no matter how many drugs you're given. So
it's trauma. Your body went through trauma.
Yeah. So we love Reiki here. So for you, when you do a Reiki session, what does it actually look like?
So the very first thing that I do is I clear the space before my client comes in, or before I work with anybody. I clear this energy of the space. So energy sits. You know that feeling of when you've had a bit of an uncomfortable day and you just kind of feel like a little heaviness or something. So Reiki helps me to clear that energy. So what I'm doing is I'm taking any negative energy and I'm giving it up to what they call the divine white light. So there's a universal life force that is kind of just always around us that I'm harnessing. So it's like inviting in the positivity and asking the negativity to leave. So the salt cave is a great space for Reiki because salt naturally absorbs negative ions. It's electric current. We have an electric current running through us at all times. Our heartbeat, our brain waves, the EKG. So the first thing I do is clear the space. Sometimes I would use sage or Palo Santo. Those are traditional, energy clearing herbs that you can use. And then I will just kind of touch base with my client, the same as I did with you when we did the Reiki on the beach. So is there anywhere in your body that you feel like the energy is kind of stuck? And stuck energy can feel uncomfortable. So it might feel like tension in your neck. It might be that your knees are aching. It could be in the hips. We store a lot of grief in the hips. So anyone that's had any kind of trauma or grief, usually their hips bother them. So there's certain energy centers, the chakras in our body where the energy sits. So after I talk to the person about their body, I just get consent as far as the sound healing that I do. Most of my clients have no problem with me putting my hands on certain parts of their body. And then I really kind of listen to their body. So my hands are conductors for the Reiki energy. So the first thing I do is a scan, and I can feel, it will sometimes feel like lightning. It will feel like heat. It will feel like the energy is just so powerful in a certain part of their body. Typically, it's the brain. A lot of my clients suffer from anxiety. And I say, you have the chaos swirl where the brain just can't shut off. And I actually, like head to feet, will feel for where the energy needs to move.
And I do have to give you your flowers. I got into Renee's car a few weeks ago and we were going to a event and you were like, this is not right here. And I had just had that horrible appointment and we went to the beach. She did a wonderful session on me, and you do feel the heat. I remember that from my days in Lingo, and I felt so much better afterwards. And people don't really realize, how much energy affects us. It's more than just, oh, I don't have a lot of energy in me today. It's more the energy around us affects us, the space we're in, and, everything we do. And you showed me a very cool move, which I have been showing everybody the past few weeks. Instead of, flipping somebody off or doing a bad word, or if you just had a bad conversation, we cross our arms, basically put our hands to our shoulders and trace and drag all that bad energy off our shoulders, and we go like,
flick it. That's right.
Flick it off.
You can get that energy moving, get it away from you.
I am obsessed with it. Everyone in my family's doing it now. They're like, oh, finally Jen will put the bird away and she'll just flick the negative energy.
That's it. Perfect. Yes. And by you contributing positive energy into the universe instead of that negative energy. If somebody cuts you off, their energy is negative. Like you're driving to the grocery store and someone cuts you off in the street. That's a negative thing. But by you compounding the negative, that just heightens the negative. If you squash the negative and you say, you know what, that person's having a bad day. I just wish that whatever's happening to you fixes itself. You're putting that good vibe out there. You're putting that positivity out there. So the way that we respond to our environment is a huge part of Reiki as well. The world is an unsafe, unpredictable, really chaotic place. But if we can harness and center ourselves within the chaos, you don't react as big. And you don't create a heightened level of negativity. You're actually bringing the vibe of the collective to a more positive space.
I really love that. And I suffer from anxiety as well. I'm sure everyone in the world does, but we have different degrees of anxiety. And I do a jinx whenever I mention anything, remotely good or bad that I want to happen or not happen. And I feel very similarly with the flicking and all of that is just another way for us to kind of protect ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep the good in and the bad out.
That's right.
So, I mentioned before that I discovered Reiki in the hospital. So, what I would want to ask you is, although it's kind of rare to see Reiki in hospitals now, and depending on the budget of the hospitals, why do you think more hospitals are beginning to wake up and realize there are benefits to things like Reiki instead of, adding more meds for anxiety or more meds for pain?
I think just people in general are looking towards more healthy lifestyles and more healthy modalities. The boom of the internet and just so much more information. 20 years ago, if you didn't know someone that practiced Reiki in your town or in your, world, you wouldn't really know about it. I think the wellness community has really taken like a huge leap lately. I think people are looking for other things as well. I think the opioid epidemic has really, really cracked down on, what people are willing to put in their body.
How would you recommend it be used alongside like traditional medical care? Like if you were a practitioner in the hospital and you came in to the patient's room and they're like, what would you do?
So I think that most people who are facing chronic illness or facing, health challenges, I think the mental side is where Reiki can really help them.
100%.
So I know myself, I had a C-section for my twins and my anxiety was through the roof before, not only for my body and my well-being, but also for my children. So I did a lot of things for myself. I went to therapy. I did talk to my therapist about how I was feeling about going into such a major surgery. And also, they had to give me morphine in the hospital. So I was also worried about reactivating that addiction by going on a medicine, So I think that having Reiki as part of the healing process, or even just as part of the treatment process, can just maybe help people to feel a little calmer. And sometimes when the nervous system calms down, the body isn't using so much energy. It has more energy to heal. It has more energy to fight whatever illness or situation that's going on. I have clients from all walks of life, every background, every nation. I have some clients that are heard about it from a friend, some clients who know me personally and say, I really need help with this. I've just been treating anybody and everybody that kind of comes my way, friends, family. I'm open to helping anybody. I would say most people come to me and they say, I've had a lot of grief. I had trauma in my childhood. I have anxiety. I have a really stressful home situation. I have a client going through a divorce. I have a client that has Bell's palsy. I have a client that has a colostomy bag from intestinal surgery.
Right.
A lot of the physical can be helped with the mental too. And that Reiki energy is going to go to the body parts that are hurting and try to heal it, at least make it feel better, you know?
See, that's what I love about what you do is so much of the medical world is focused on the body and we're totally neglecting the mind. And the brain is very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to take care of our brains, guys. And
Yes.
Reiki could be an incredible tool for people.
Yeah.
I know this seems like a little bit redundant, but to you, why is caring for, your emotional well-being so important?
I think that just my experience with trauma and being upset, it led me down a bad path, and that led to my addiction. And I see so many people that have unresolved trauma or this anger in them or this fear or these negative emotions that build over time. And we sometimes don't even know where we picked them up, but all of a sudden you have this person that is really unsettled, unbalanced, just, and you could almost like see it from a mile away, like it's like they're on fire. And I just feel like the world would be such a calmer and more pleasant place if people were able to acknowledge their emotions, hold space for them, process them, and be able to let go of any of the negativity. There's really great emotions. There's really strong emotions, the passion, that drive that people have. But I think that when there's the negative emotions, just from us being human, it's the human experience. Along the way, some things are going to be difficult.
We're never not going to have bad emotions.
Never. I don't know one person that is walking through life just in a cloud and a butterfly. And that's not what Reiki does. It doesn't put you in a cloud and a butterfly. It gives you tools to navigate the trials and tribulations of the human experience so that those trials and tribulations don't break you, don't absolutely bury you. You can rise above, you can move on, you can still enjoy life, you can go to concerts, you can listen to music, you can dance on the beach and enjoy a sunset. You don't have to let the negative win.
So we all have like an emotional toolbox, right? I definitely feel like Reiki should definitely be it's going in my toolbox. I won't lie, I've definitely ghosted my therapist. I'm currently ghosting my therapist, but when I was with therapy, I did notice a lot of emotions coming up, as as it obviously does.
Yes.
But people often see like these complementary therapies like Reiki, yoga, stuff like that as all or nothing. And I kind of view that way with just traditional therapy. I'm like, well, I'm either going to completely commit, do this every Thursday, or I'm going to go and try to handle this on my own. But if we've got these tools in our toolbox, do you think people will be able to navigate life just a little bit easier?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it's the same with anything. So my toolbox is incorporated with breath work. It is mantras, it is affirmations, it is gratitude, it is meditating, it's exercise. And I actually made a video about I had an issue with my son and putting him on the wrong bus. And I was trying to get ready for work, trying to get my other son ready for school. And my brain was on fire because I was so worried about my son with autism on the wrong school bus. Where is he going? I didn't know where he was going. I couldn't reach him to let him know that he was safe, that he was going to a different spot. So I made a video and I had to get ready for work. And I said, well, this is what I'm going to do. I love EDM house music. I am a club kid from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So anytime I need to kind of get out of my own head, as they say, I will blast Jonathan Peters. I will blast old school house music. And it just makes me feel better. It makes me ground in my body. I also do my 5 rules. So 5 things I can see, 4 things I can hear, 3 things that I can touch, 2 things that I can smell, and 1 thing that I can taste. So getting back into the body, the mind will race and race and race, but reminding myself I'm safe, that this is not an emergency. My fight or flight goes into anytime there's an issue. I am 5-alarm fire. We're calling the 911, like it's on, you know?
Yep.
So I have to retrain my brain to say it was a minor issue. It wasn't a major issue. He was perfectly safe.
I love this. I love the toolbox and stuff. Tools in your toolbox.
Thanks.
You have some of these really awesome objects here.
Yes.
Is there any of them you want to talk about? Anything that has like sound?
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
for people to hear?
Yep. So I have my little Tibetan sound bowl. So this is the ancient Tibetans. This sound is actually rewiring the brain. So there's certain frequencies in sound that will rewire the brain to homeostasis. Okay, so that's one. I love this. I use this in all my Reiki treatments. This is my rain stick. So this is an African rain stick. So it's the seeds inside the wood, and they put nails in there. So this, there's something about this sound that I use along with guided meditation, and I remind you, because it sounds like rain, I remind you that in life there's rainstorms and there's stormy days, but they pass. And just like the rain needs, the flowers need the rain to grow, we need those days of trials to remind us that how resilient we are, how strong we are, and also just to kind of like prove to ourselves that we can get through hard times. That's a big one of mine. No matter what, you don't give up. You're allowed to cry, you're allowed to scream, you're allowed to punch a pillow, you're allowed to say this sucks, you're allowed to say this is really hard and I hate it, but you're not allowed to give up.
100%.
That's the one thing you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to give up. This is my wave drum. So this I use when I do beach meditations to mimic the sound of the ocean. So just bringing sound into guided meditation. It soothes the body, it soothes the mind, and it just reminds you of maybe a nice day on the beach. I use it in a lot of my Reiki circles. And then I also have my tuning fork. So this is the electric current of the tuning fork. So this is at 128 hertz. So this is actually going to rewire, and I know you love this one. So just the hum of that is all the energy in your body is kind of like recalibrating. So I go crown to ground. I go from your head down to your feet. I love the feet. Feet they hold us. They do. They walk us through our life. Yep. And then I love doing like ear to ear, but just like up and over. And it's just very, very calming and centering. That will also just get the current of your energy in like a smoother track. And the last one, my absolute favorite one, is my koshi chimes. So these are Japanese healing chimes, and they come in the 4 elements. So the 4 elements are water, air, fire, and earth. I'm a Virgo, so I'm an earth sign, so I chose the earth ones. So there's C, D, and E tunes in there. So each chime of the 4 chimes has a different sound.
That's so cool.
So it's just like a really pretty, soothing sound. And I see the body, when I place it over certain parts of the body, sometimes it jumps. The body jumps. It's like, ooh, it's like a little party. And I've had pregnant clients, and I actually see the babies like cake. They love the babies. Love
like
these. Yes.
That's so amazing.
Babies love my kosher chimes. Yeah, you want to play them? They're so yeah, of course. You just have to swing it. Yeah. So just move it around.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's just such a soothing sound.
So when you got into Reiki, was there like you said you took classes.
Mm-hmm. I took the courses, yeah.
Took the courses.
Mm-hmm.
But I was familiar with the rain stick because we used to use that to scare my dog when she would pee. We would go, Coco, no, and we would shake it really bad.
Wow.
They always said, like, well, shake a can of peas or something.
Beans, yeah.
But we had a rain stick for
So
some
cool.
reason, and she would run, like, it was so bad.
That's so funny.
But she stopped peeing. But how do you discover things like this for people that want to get into this alternative therapies?
Yeah. So I have been going to, I have a mentor named Jen who is amazing. She's a yoga instructor and a life coach, and she's also a women's circle facilitator. So I've been going to her women's circles for over 4 years. I started, right after COVID, I started kind of jumping into my wellness journey.
Yes.
And I started going to her women's circles, and they were all centered around either the full moon or the new moon. Women have been gathering in circles for thousands of years in every culture around the world, typically around moon cycles, and typically as a community to come together to talk about what's going on in the tribe, or to have a space for healing. So I found a lot of these tools through my friend Jen.
That's amazing. Everyone should check those things out. Here's my least favorite part. You guys address the skeptics. There's always a hater in a group. There's never a group without a hater.
That's okay.
So I know there are listeners probably thinking this sounds a little bit out there. You know, sure, energy is there, but like, what are we going to do with it? What would you say to someone that's skeptical?
So for people that are skeptical, I would say I understand, because a lot of people are concrete learners. There's all different type of learners out there. There's all different type of personalities. And I think that traditional ways of upbringing have not, we had Salem witch trials. We've had in this country a history of not against the norm and not outside what, white male culture will say. So a lot of these, a lot of the history, this divine wisdom, this ancient wisdom is carried through women. So I think that women are the gatekeepers. We are the ones that are holding all this sacred energy and all this sacred wisdom. We create life. We do have that divine energy in us, and understand it. Just think about it as your nervous system as like electricity in the wall. You can't see the electricity,
but it's there.
Plug the power in and it works. You can't see Wi-Fi. It works. You can't see, you can see lightning. That's the electricity you can see, but you can't explain where it came from or why all of a sudden it just cracked out of nowhere.
Right.
So there has to be a little bit of the mystic in the unknown. And I think that, you either believe it or you don't. But I'd say if you're unsure about it, give it a shot. And there's nothing to lose. There's no negativity. Reiki energy is only positive life force energy. And if nothing else, you'll just have a 45-minute relaxation on a table, and you might feel leaving a little lighter,
What's the worst? You walk away with a cool story.
That's it, yeah.
Exactly. All right, so this is the lightning round.
Okay.
What are your favorite self-care practices? Your number one. What is your favorite?
Sleep. Rest. I need my rest. Yes. I need my tea. I need my healthy food.
I love that. What's one thing you do every day besides Reiki to reduce your stress?
To reduce my stress, I breathe. I do mindful breathing, and I do my affirmations as well. I have mantras that I say to myself every single morning, and I might be driving and I say them before I come into work, but breathing, breath work would be my most one. Anytime you are disconnected from your body, your breath will bring you back. 5 deep breaths. Remember we did that? 5 deep breaths. mindful, really paying attention to the breath in and really paying attention to the breath out. Yeah.
When everything is crazy, your head is on fire, what's your favorite grounding exercise?
I would say stomping my feet.
Yeah.
Actually physically, tangibly feeling the earth beneath me.
Mm-hmm.
And I tap, I do emotional frequency tapping.
Yeah.
So actually tapping points on your body are scientifically linked to de-stressing. So top of your head, front of your forehead, under your eyes, under the nose, the chin, the collarbones, and under the armpits.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your most like aggravating, most heard common misconception about Reiki?
I think people think that it's just woo-woo, that it's like it's you're just holding a stick and you're being like that. It's witchcraft. That's my biggest one. It is a witchcraft, and that it has a negative thing, that it's bad. Yeah,
I love it. So living with chronic illnesses, it teaches us that healing is never one-dimensional. Sometimes healing looks like surgery or recovering from surgery.
Yes.
Sometimes it's taking medications every day. Sometimes it's physical therapy. Sometimes it's actual therapy. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's spending time with people you love. And for some people, it's Reiki. I don't believe healing has to be one thing. I think everyone deserves access to safe, informed care for ourselves, our mind, our body, our spirit. While continuing to trust science and modern medicine, there is no harm in discovering amazing tools to put in your emotional toolkit like Reiki. Take your meds. Go to a salt spa. Do both. There's nothing stopping you. So I just want to say, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Sick Chick Hour. If you enjoyed today's conversation, I'd love if you shared this episode with someone who could use it. And you can follow Renee at PeacefulWarrior44 Reiki on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Jen Can't Breathe, where I share my life with cystic fibrosis, transplantation, and everything that happens in between. But remember, being chronically ill doesn't mean you stop living. Grasp onto life, stomp your feet, celebrate every moment, and allow the light in wherever you can find it. Thanks for listening, and thank you for being here.
Of course, namaste. It's my privilege.